So I see that someone in the comment had also responded to your question, which I absolutely love. I love when we all can just come together and get these questions answered. But I want to kind of elaborate a little bit more on it about attending one of the Exhibit C schools and if you put your application in after the settlement has closed. Because once the settlement is closed, which it closed back in 2022, that means that no one who puts in a borrower's defense application is privy to any of the clauses under that settlement. The great thing about it, the settlement, is that it provided that timeline for the Department of Education to make a decision. And if they failed to make decisions by those timelines, then there was, in a sense, consequences to that. And we see that is happening right now because of a deadline that was just missed currently on the 28th of January, which now entitles members in that settlement to full settlement relief. But when we're talking about yourself, because you just put your application in January of this year, what that means for you, under the current regulations, there is no timeline. And actually, there has not been a necessarily timeline that the Department of Education had to make a decision on borrower defense applications. Now, what that means is because the Department of Education doesn't necessarily have a timeline to make a decision on your application, is that we have to have other avenues that we are pursuing while you're waiting on a decision, meaning going into an income-driven repayment plan. Also, if you qualify for public service loan forgiveness, certifying that employment, things of that nature, other avenues to get those loans discharged until that borrower defense application comes up for its time to be reviewed. Also, if you just put your application in January, there's different regulations, that the application can be evaluated under. We had the passing of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that also changed some things when we talk about borrower's defense. So there's a lot of different things currently right now with borrower defense applications that are pending after, this settlement, and what that means for borrowers who are still waiting on a decision. But to answer the question, there is not technically anything that's written in the regulations that has a timeline that is definite, like the department has 3 years to make a decision, or that is not anything that is written currently as things stand right now. So this could be a waiting game. So like I said, that's why we look at other avenues while this application is still processing or in review to get those loans discharged. All right. But I hope that helps. And yeah, good luck.